and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Melanie. If you'd like to get to know me a little bit, all my social media links will be down below in the description bar, so be sure to check that out if you're interested in any kind of way. It's been a while. I kind of took a week off in the beginning of the month and I didn't get a chance to film my TBRs and my wrap-ups and all of that. I did manage to film my whole, not that I've edited it, but we'll get to that. But today we're here with my July TBR. I'm really excited to talk about these books. Some of them you might recognize from last month's TBR or reading plans. I'll leave all of that in the info cards and down below. But I think we should just jump into it. I'm gonna start with all the ebooks that I need to read because I have them all in my bullet journal right now and it's just easier to read off of them. And then I'll jump into the physical books next. So the first book that I have to read that is an ebook is A Bad Read by Kat Ross. This is the third book in Gas Lamp Gothic series. It is, I think it's a trilogy, but it could be more. I need to read this for a blog tour that I'm doing with Espresso Tours, and I really love Kat Ross's books. I've read her other books and they're all amazing. They're all kind of revolve around this one kind of magical creature, and I really enjoy it. They're people, but they're non-human people. It's the next thing that I need to read is Stranger Rituals. Once again, this is also for a blog tour that I'm doing with Espresso Blog Tours. This just sounded interesting and the cover is really cool. I then have to read Within Ash and Stardust. This is the third book in the Zenith trilogy by Chani Lynn Feiner. I've read the first two also just whilst I was doing blog tours, and I really like them. They're kind of some of my favorite YA books because they're so easy to read and they're so easy to love, I guess, as well. It's not overly complicated to get into them, and they're really quick reads. I highly recommend them. I'm going to be rereading the series, so you'll be seeing more of that a little bit later, but once again, this is for a blog tour that is all happening next week. I then also have Magic Heist. This is the second book in that series, but from what I gather, you don't need to read the first one, so I'm very excited. And then the last ebook that I have to read this month is The Rogue King. This is also for a blog tour that I'm doing with Espresso Tours. I kind of enjoy trashy novels in terms of like trashy romances. They make reading a lot more fun for me when they get a little bit too crazy, but I'm very excited for all of these titles because I think they're going to be really good reads. We're now going to jump into all of the physical books that I'd like to read this month. This is in no particular order. I just really want to get to these, and that is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I actually have read this book before, but it has been years, so I'd like to jump back into it. A lot of my friends right now are rereading this series or have started reading the series, and honestly, I want to kind of jump back into it. From what I can remember, I enjoyed it, but I don't remember much. It's been about a good 3-4 years since I've read it. The next book, you're all probably gonna kick me because I haven't read it yet, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I really can't wait to jump into this. I'm hoping to actually buy, if I really enjoy this, then I'm hoping to buy the trade of The Wicked King really soon. But I've heard good things. I've been told that I have to read it, and I haven't had the chance to do so, but now it's perfect, so I'm gonna jump into this as well. And similar to last month, I will still be attempting to read The Wizards of Wands. I'm probably gonna read this a lot sooner though, because this was such a quick and easy read from what I can remember. It's mainly illustrated, so I'm hoping to jump into this really soon. And then because I got Oathbringer about 2 years ago from Jonathan Bull Publishers, I'm finally doing my reread of The Final Empire so that I can continue with the series. The next book that I really need to read is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I am borrowing this arc from a friend of mine, and I would really like to get to it because I'm sure she would like it back because this was a treasure, so I really am excited to get into it. I'm kind of very nervous as well. I really loved The Night Circus, and I've heard great things about this so far, so crossing my fingers that I'm one of those people who love it. The next book that I'll be reading is Amid Stars and Darkness by Chani Lynn Feiner. This is the first book in the Zenith trilogy. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm rereading the whole series to read the final book, and that means that I have to read the first book. Hopefully this is finally the month that I'll get to God's Grave, because once again, it's something that I've been meaning to read. My friend just got an arc of Dark Dawn, which I'm very jealous of, but I'm very excited. I've pre-ordered Dark Dawn already, and I'm hoping that I can get also the trade UK edition. And then I also would like to read The Grace Year. This comes out in September, but I really want to read it as soon as possible because I really like the story. I had a look at the covers and I very much prefer the American cover to this. This is the UK cover is going to have the hand on the front. So I'm not the biggest of fans of that, but we'll see. I'm very excited for this as well. The next book that I'd like to read is The Kingdom by Jess Rothenberg. This comes out on the 11th of June in the UK / in South Africa too, I believe. So I'm very excited for this. This is kind of really made its waves in America. A lot of people got proofs and final copies of this. I love the American cover as well of this one because of the android or the baby's face being cut in half. I thought that was really, really well done, and I can't wait for this. The next book that I would like to get to is We Hunt the Flame. I actually started this in June, but I never got to finish it because it took me a while to get into the beginning, but I'm hoping to read the rest of it in July. And then the next one is Evermore by Sarah Holland. This is another book that I'd really like to get to because I've read the first book. I reread the first book last month and it just makes sense to read it almost immediately. And then the very, very last book of my TBR is The Punk Factor. I decided to include this because I really need to read this book. I've been on my TBR for a while now and I need to get to it. This TBR isn't as ambitious as last month's TBR was because I'm actually heading back to uni, so I have to actually read my uni books as well, my set works. But for now, this is what I'm sticking with. I'm hoping that I can get to all of them because it isn't too crazy. I am also currently doing a thing where I'm trying to read all of my NetGaily books. I have a bunch that I got over the years that I haven't even gotten to because I get distracted by the books that I get via like blog tour places, authors and publicity places, and also what I get from the publishers here in South Africa. So it's been a bit stressful, but I'm trying to get through all of those so that they can get done and dusted. But yes, thank you so much for joining me for my TBR. Do you see any books on my TBR that you've read or that you would like to read? Let me know down below. I'm always interested because even though my bookshelves look like crazy and there's no space for anything anymore, I'm always open to buy more books and to have a look at different books so that we know what you're currently reading and what you're planning on reading this month. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.